Well, where the hell am I? Looks like the basement sublet. Oh boy, that ain't good. Hello, please start the show. I'll be right there, Gunther. Well, I guess it's me then. Let's start the show. I'm Tex LeBeauf, your ghost host. Let's get ready to rumble. I'm burpy like a seed catalog. This here's the basement sublet of horror, and I am your temporary replacement singing cowboy Tex LeBeauf, sitting in for Gunther Dedmund, who is off somewhere. Tonight's motion picture is a real corker called Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter. I have written a little, I am writing a little tune, and it goes something like this, to go with the film for your enjoyment. I should have finished it before I came on, but that's the way it goes. No, that ain't it. Once there was a man named Frankenstein. He made himself a monster, thought it was mighty fine. That monster came to America and met himself a girl. They had themselves a baby, and it was another girl. That girl grew up, and she was pretty. But she met a man named Jesse James, and he ruined her, just ruined her. He was a bad man. That's all I got. That's all I got on that. I might do some more later, but I want to talk about our sponsor. Now, normally, there isn't a sponsor on this program, but see, I got a special deal with a company that's been very important to me, a company called Brubaker's. Brubaker's little caffeine pills. Now, I know some of you are fighting the big sleep. The sleep is coming on, and you want to stay up and watch the program. Well, that's what you need is Brubaker's little caffeine pills. They don't give you the runs the way coffee does. And it ain't made in a foreign country like tea. It's made right here in the USA, out of caffeine plants. And it's the greatest stuff ever. I'll tell you what. I've stayed up for 3, 4, 5 days, 6 at a time on these little beauties. And I want you to think on that while you're watching the first part of tonight's extra special feature, Frankenstein's Daughter Meets Jesse James. This is directed by a man named William Bodine. Now, I knew William Bodine in my days in Hollywood when I was playing on the sidewalk. Now, this wasn't the happiest part of my career. I had been thrown out of my own band, Tex LeBeauf and the Alcoholic Wanderers, and I was playing on Hollywood Boulevard, and Mr. William Bodine, who was quite old, would come by. And, you could always count on old Mr. Bodine to kick you when you were down. And but I did know him. I got to say that. He was quite a figure. And now, here comes the first part of my personal favorite of Mr. Bodine's pictures, except for Jesse James meets Billy the Kid meets Dracula. Sorry. That's my favorite. But this one's good too. Have a look and be scared. Be very scared. Well, we're back. Did that scare you? That scared me. That scared me, and I ain't easy to scare. I tell you what, I've been in some situations where if you ain't scared, you're just stupid. And it's been said that I am stupid, but I ain't. So what we got here is a panic situation. This is a frightening, frightening film, and it is just going to get scarier. So let me tell you right now, if you are too afraid to move, grab your little bottle of Brubaker's little caffeine pills. They're the ones with the minty eucalyptus taste. All right, I think I've said enough to get my monthly stipend from Brubaker's. Now, this film was directed, as I said, by Mr. William Bodine, a man who was not afraid to kick a man when he was down. Mr. Bodine was famous for shooting his pictures in one take. And this was shot in less than 6 days. I suppose that means more than 5, less than 6. Cost less money that way. You'd think, having saved all that money, that Mr. Bodine would have had a little bit left over for the sidewalk troubadour. He did not. That's all right, because he's dead and Tex is still alive. Old Tex is still kicking. So take that, Mr. Bodine. You are rotten in the ground, and I am still rotten up here, above the ground. Now, I wrote another verse to the song, but I already forgot it during the film. But I had a little idea for a piece like this. How could Frankenstein have a baby? He was made of several men. That's all I got. Something I noticed was that wouldn't it be Frankenstein's granddaughter? Because it seems like Jesse James was a lot later than Frankenstein. Jesse James was in the Civil War. Now think on that. I did have a can of Billy here. Billy. I'm still getting money from the Billy Beer people too, along with Brubaker's. And I don't know how it happens, because this is, I think, my last can. And I ain't been able to find it anywhere since 1978. But once a month, like clockwork, the Carter family sends me a check for $13. And I'll tell you what, there's times when I'm happy to have it. Because, like for example now, Gunther Dedmund, I'll tell you what, he don't pay much. He's a nice feller, and I appreciate how he's some sort of undead creature, but he don't pay for snot. Seems to me that in that reanimation sequence, which is what we used to call bringing back the dead, seems to me that that girl's wearing an army helmet, a World War II helmet. Now, it's painted so you couldn't tell, but wasn't it? Am I wrong? Sometimes I am. Sometimes I can't tell. Sometimes I get so far into the ether that I think I've always been in it. The picture, however, is scaring me so bad that I don't know what I'm going to do, because I have a lot of psychological problems that have to do with things that happened to me when I was in the spacecraft. Here's the end of my Frankenstein song, even though I don't really have a beginning or a middle, but I do have an end, I think. And this ain't really tuned properly, but here it goes. And I'm going to start with G. And that was the end of the story of Frankenstein's daughter and Jesse James. come out the way I thought it was going to. And I don't know what the end of the picture is. See? Because I ain't seen it yet. But I could tell that that's a good lyrical way to end it. You say that's the end of Frankenstein. There you go. Simply declaring that the piece is over sometimes makes it over. All right. Now, back to the end of the picture, and I am ready to wet my pants. All right. Well, I guess that wasn't really as scary as I thought it was going to be, the ending there. But it was the end of the story, and I guess that's something to be grateful for. It is our long national nightmare over. And now I'm going to sit down on the guitar, and we're going to find out if the girls can beam me up from a sitting position. We're going to go up. We're in low Earth orbit, and the girls, Candy and Lena, the extraterrestrial twins, are going to beam me up for a little rest and relaxation. And tell you what, old Tex is having a good week with them girls. It's I almost hated to come down here. Candy, Lena, I'm ready to go. Candy, Lena, I'm ready to beam up. You can beam me up now. Girls, ladies. Oh, hell. I hope I'm not stuck here. This is a very scary place.